PTF and JK back with you in the Brooklyn podcasting studio for our Long Shots Volume 2, where we talk about some horses who could really light things up in those vertical exotics for you. This video is brought to you by our friends at DK Horse. Make sure you download the DK Horse app today. JK, we'll let you kick this one off. Which long shot you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm going to start with 6-speed. I think 6-speed is interesting. Obviously, we're close to the connections, but I think sometimes when you're close to the connections, you know a little bit more about the story. And I will say this, anytime horses come from Japan or Maidan, they come from Dubai, you don't really know, right? They're not a huge figure community. We don't really have pace figures. We got numbers of types of pace figures when the horses run over here. So we don't know exactly how good he is. What I do know is that I believe horses that are forward in the Kentucky Derby do better than sometimes people might think. I think if 6-speed can somehow work out a trip, they don't go too fast, I do think he could stick around there at a big price and hit the board. Speed is always dangerous. My other long shot is the opposite of that, where if in which the pace is entirely too quick, they go way too fast, 6-speed litmus test, hook up, and it falls apart. Some of the big horses get into trouble. I think Golden Tempo is one who could come running on late, pick up pieces. I've seen worse horses. Golden Tempo is better than Mind That Bird. He's better than Rich Strike. Those horses were fortunate enough to win in a meltdown, maybe, just maybe, Golden Tempo. So I'll give you a speed horse in 6-speed and a closer in Golden Tempo.
I see where you're going with both of those. In both instances, I think you will be lighting up the tote board. I love that pedigree on Golden Tempo, Curlin, the Bernardini Dam, Caramba, who I'm sure you remember as well. And then in the case of 6-speed, yeah, looks like probably the clear speed if they want to be from out there, or with that outside draw, let the other speeds break, settle off, could get a very good trip. And you're right, we don't really know how good he is. We do know these connections, black type thoroughbreds team in particular, have a really strong record with these imports when they get involved, when they buy in to these horses in training. They tend to be really good ones. We'll see how that plays out in the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. I will mention one a little bit different. Not going to be as long as your two, but I think has just a really good chance to hit the board. Not sure if he has the brilliance to win, but Silent Tactic is a horse I want to be on the record saying is going to be on all of my superfectas and all of my trifectas as one who I feel really confident is going to be able to get hopefully the right kind of trip to put in that consistent late run and get a little bit of a piece. 20-1 on the morning line. Will be that on the day. Technically speaking, probably not quite that big in these exotic pools, but it doesn't matter. When you're trying to do something as tough as hit a try or a super on Derby Day, to have a horse you can anchor it around who's not among the favorites, that's beneficial. That horse for me this year is Silent Tactic. There you have our Derby long shot thoughts. Very happy that you could be joining us here. Make sure you don't miss any of our exclusive Kentucky Derby content. Got the big push to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. We know from watching the data in the background, most of you are not subscribed. Do something about that. Help us out. And also, make sure you support our sponsors over at DK Horse by downloading the DK Horse app today.